Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you are well. What a wonderful evening it is. If you're watching the recording, then hop on through a few minutes and you'll be able to get into the big juicy bit of the content there. But this is our live revision tutorial, and today, 4 questions that you are not expecting on your anatomy and physiology exam. It is an absolute game changer if you're about to do your anatomy exam. So those of you that are, make the choice, be here, go through it, learn these questions, we'll go through what the answers are and how you go about answering them and what that means, and then from there you will be fantastically awesome, ready for exam day. I know there's a few of you building up soon, so pop in a comment, let me know you're watching, you can hear me okay. Pop in a little comment, say hi. I like hearing a say hi. In fact, tell me what you've been up to today. How's your day been? Now, this bit, whilst you're getting going, I've drawn us a lovely thing. It is a choice. So when we're getting ready for our exam, it's a choice. Now, most of you that I've been speaking to regularly have already made a decision which way you're going to go for your exam. You've already decided that you want to pass, and you're making all those changes that you need to do. You're squeezing in the extra 10 minutes of revision, you're squeezing in the extra bit of information that you need, and you are making it count. You've decided that you are ready to pass. That's what it's all about. So for those of you that have decided you want to pass, ready to go, don't listen to the ones that are ready to give up. Which reminds me, if you have any classmates that are also about to do their anatomy exam, then make sure you hit like, make sure you tag them in, because they're going to also really benefit from this. There's a few of you I know that have got anatomy exams coming up. I know, for example, Jackie, you've got your level 3. Aaron, definitely, you've got your level 2 this weekend. Beth, yours is on Tuesday. And I was speaking to a couple of people over Instagram. They've got a few coming up. So definitely some coming up. But it is a choice. It's that difference between, do you choose to pass or do you choose to give up? And it is entirely your choice. But if you just choose to pass, then it's about doing the work bit by bit. All those little chunks really add up. And things like doing this live with me now, you're going to get some big insider information, which is obviously what it's all about. So I've selected 4 questions from the anatomy exam. Some of those are level 2, some of them are level 3, but regardless, the content will be beneficial for both. So whatever one you're doing, it's going to be super relevant on all 4 of them. Now, I've selected 4 of these questions because these are the ones that people claim as being red herrings. Now, I've changed them slightly, obviously, because I can't just be giving you live questions, but I've taken the theme of what that question is to help you then prepare for that type of question on exam day. Now, we've mapped to the Active IQ syllabus, so these 4 are mapped alongside parts of the Active IQ syllabus, and like I say, I've totally changed the question, but it's the wording and it's the type of question that's really, really good to be prepared for. So, this is how we're going to do it. I'm hoping there's a few more of you joining me, so please do pop a little thumbs up, let me know you're watching. I know I'm a few minutes early, but let me know you're watching. Let me know how your day's going. I'd like to hear. A bit more water whilst I wait. And I'm needing a little bit of extra water today because I'm in the middle of making a Jamaican jerk chicken in the slow cooker, and I just went down and tried it, and oh my god. So there'll be a lot of water needed later as well. Maybe a nice juice to go alongside it. What do you reckon? Okay, so how are we doing? What we got? Who is joining me this evening? Who is joining me this evening? Pop in a little comment, let me know you can hear and see me okay, and just say hello, and we will crack on and get moving in just a moment. Give it a couple more minutes whilst we get ready. Okay, who we got? Join me. So let me know you can see me. Pop in a little hi, little like, that would be great. If you pop in a hi, I know your name, and then I'll be able to make it really nice and personalised to you. But if you don't put hi, I just know you as a number. So please do. Remember, we said it is a choice. You choose whether you choose to pass your exam or you choose to give up. Which route are you choosing now you're heading forwards? Which one are you choosing? If you're choosing to pass, then stay with us, because I'm going to go through the 4 questions that you are not expecting to come up on your anatomy and physiology exam. Really, really important. These 4 questions are the ones that usually people class as a red herring, or ones that they're just not ready for. So that's why I wanted to cover them for you, so you have less worries, less surprises on the day. So we always say, oh, I love surprises, but we don't love surprises when it comes to exams. We don't love them at all. We want to know roughly what's coming up, what type of questions we're going to have. So let's do this. What I'd like from you is, as much as possible, to pop in lots of comments, lots of answers to the questions as we go through. And if you have any other questions that are apart from these 4 questions that I'm going to go through, then please do put them in, because by all means we will go through them, whether it's training related, anatomy related, client success related, nutrition exam, whatever it might be. But if you also want to have a little chat in there, then put in how wonderful your day's been. It's been glorious sunshine here, so I hope yours is exactly the same as well. So what are these 4 questions that you are not expecting on exam day? Now, this is for your anatomy and physiology exam. Let's kick off with the first one. Are you ready? This is from a level 2, so it's styled on a level 2 question, but it is just as important for level 3s, so make sure you're aware of it. So, which muscle crosses the posterior elbow joint? Make sure I move the right hand. There we go. Is it A, posterior deltoids? Is it B, gluteus maximus? Is it C, biceps brachii? Or is it D, triceps brachii? All you got to do is pop your little answer in the comment box, and then if I get enough of you answer, I will also answer, and we will go through what that actually means. But I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know. So, which muscle crosses the posterior elbow joint? So, keep it nice and straightforward. When you're breaking this down, and you're obviously going to pop your answer in the comment box, please go for it. This is a level 2 style question. When you're breaking it down, you need to consider a couple of things. Let me get this in shot. So first off, it's asking for a muscle, all of which these are all muscles. So that is a good start. We know it's at least one of those 4. Then you've got the bit up here that says the posterior elbow joint. So you need to know what is the posterior elbow joint. So posterior is going to be really important to know at this point. So if you know what the posterior part of the elbow joint is, then you've got the starting of being able to work out the question. Now, this, in terms of working out the posterior, nice little tip for you. Anterior is like you've got antennae on the front of your head. So anterior is forwards, that's at the front of the body, like antennae. Posterior is in the past. So if it's in the past, it's in your posterior. So the posterior elbow joint would be the back of your arm. Now the way then to remember, well, it depends which way round you've turned your arm around. If you think of that neutral position, you're usually standing with your palms facing forwards. So that means that the anterior is on the front of the elbow, near your biceps. The posterior is on the back of the elbow. That's what we're looking for, the posterior elbow joint. I can't see any comments coming through, so if you're watching the recording later on, then please do make sure those comments and answers are coming in. I would love to see them. Regardless of the level you're at, let me see. Let me know who's joining me. So, which muscle crosses the posterior elbow joint? Is it A, posterior deltoids? Is it B, gluteus maximus? Is it C, biceps brachii? Or is it D, triceps brachii? Don't worry if you feel like you're going to put down the wrong answer or it's a guess. Please do pop down your answers. I'm going to give you my answer in just a moment. So we said the easiest way is to break this down. You know the muscle. You know there are asking for a muscle, you know they're asking for the posterior elbow joint. The posterior is the back of the arm. So which muscle crosses the posterior elbow joint? You can already, straight off by just the word elbow, get rid of posterior deltoids because they're up on your shoulder. You can also get rid of gluteus maximus because that's your butt. Andy, thank you very much. And then biceps are on the front. I'm loving all these lovely things coming across in terms of likes and hearts. And I think I saw an angry face in there as well. But Kelly and Andy, thank you for popping in D's. I think some of those likes came from Dave. So thank you very much, Dave. So the answer is D, triceps brachii, of course. So that's the posterior elbow joint. The reason why this is one of those things that people aren't expecting, especially at level 2. I mean, Kelly, did you have a question like this at level 2? Please do pop in, because I know you recently done your exam. Basically, what people aren't expecting at level 2 is to have this kind of level of having to know what the muscles are and what joint they cross. So it's not going to physically say, here's drawing points of the triceps. It's going to ask you in roundabout terms, like what we saw on that. So you need to know what is anterior, what is posterior, before you can even answer the question. Wonderful, hey? Well done, Andy and Kelly. Spot on. Andy, when is your exam? Are you ramping up to a level 3 or level 2 exam? Please do pop it in. It would be great to hear from you. So pop that one in. Okay, question 2. You ready? Give me some likes if you're ready. Let's do this. So, question 2. What is the name given to muscle mass loss? God, that was tricky to say. Due to aging. So, what is the name given to muscle mass loss due to aging? Let's see who can get that answer in the quickest. Is it A, osteopenia, B, sarcopenia, C, osteoporosis, or D, hypertrophy? So just like the other questions, a couple of things that you need to know in order to be able to even remotely answer it. So those things that you need to know, let me move this around, that's better, we can see it now. So those things you need to know are, you need to know the muscle mass loss. So it's saying, what is it when you lose muscle mass? And also due to aging. So this is talking in relation to getting older. So how do we break it down? Andy, level 3 sports massage in August. Fantastic. So there is a couple that's going to be really appropriate to you actually coming up. The next 2, well, the first one was probably quite helpful as well, but the next 2 are quite muscly related, and I know that's because Jackie is struggling with her muscles, so I made sure they were muscly related in their wording, as well as being those 4 questions you aren't expecting in your anatomy exam. So Andy, best of luck for August. Andy has gone for C. If anybody else has got any answers, pop them in. I'll be intrigued to know what you're thinking. So first thing we need to know, what is the name given to the muscle mass loss due to aging? So first thing you can do is break it down. What have we got? First thing we've got is osteo written on 2 of these. So osteo represents the word bone. So you know that's down to bone mass. So osteo is generally going to be talking about bone. If you know about the specific osteoporosis, then osteoporosis is the breakdown of bone. So that's when the bone gets porous. So osteoporosis is when the bone gets porous. So that's actually bone mass density reducing. Okay. Then osteopenia is what happens just before that, which is the reduction in bone mass. So we've got a couple of things going on here. They are fantastic. It is down to aging, and that's the red herring part of this, because most people go aging, straight away put osteoporosis because it's linked. But it's not asked us for bone mass, it's asked us for muscle mass, which means that we need to be looking at something that's asking us about muscles. So which of these relates to muscles? Sarcopenia has a bit of the word sarcomere in there. So remember, when you're looking at muscle structure, a sarcomere is the actual contractile unit. So that's your actin and myosin together. So if you had a muscle fibers or muscle mass being degraded over time, it would relate to that sarcomere being wasted, or the mass of that being reduced. Therefore, the answer is actually B. So B, sarcopenia. So sarcopenia, the penia side of it means that it's basically reducing. The sarco relates to muscle. We know hypertrophy is the gain of muscle, so we know that from probably training or principles side of things. So have another look at that. If you put something other than B, don't worry, we all do things and make sort of snap decisions. But now think, why did you make a snap decision? So if you wrote osteoporosis, which I can guarantee most people did, that would be because usually you saw the word aging, you saw mass loss, and your brain just went, I know where that is. I filed that away neatly under osteoporosis. I filed that neatly in the principal side in relation to aging and mass loss. But we just accessed the wrong part of the file because it wasn't under bone. We wanted to look under muscle loss. So muscle mass loss, as that reduces, is sarcopenia. Now, these questions that we've got here tonight, I'm not going to lie, they are probably the hardest ones out of the exam I could possibly find, because they are the ones that people struggle with, and they're the ones I want you to be prepared for. So, like I say, I have obviously taken these in essence from live exams or previous exams, but I have changed them so it's the same type of question. But don't worry, I'm not giving you the answers. But believe me, these will help you, so learn them. So, alright, are you ready for the next one? Give me a little thumbs up if you're ready and good to go for the next one. I'm quick firing through these today, so I hope you are with me. Now, the first two came from a level 2 type exam, so they're tricky. I think actually things have got harder since when I've done my level 2 quite a few years ago. But they are tricky, so hats off for doing those. Well done, guys. Right, question 3. Question 3. In sliding filament theory, which mineral ion is essential for muscle contraction? I'm having some issues with my... There we go, lovely. So, in sliding filament theory, which mineral ion is essential for muscle contraction? Is it A, iron, B, magnesium, C, calcium, or D, vitamin D? Awesome, Kelly. Thank you for your comment. So Kelly's recently done her level 2 fitness instructor qualification. So she's done her level 2 anatomy. And you said although you didn't have one like the first one in relation to origins and insertions, you also had one definitely similar to the sarcopenia osteoporosis-y type question. Perfect. Good to know. So this is question 3. How are we doing? What do you reckon? It's a bit tricky one. Like I told you, I'm not giving you the easy ones tonight. I thought let's stretch it, let's make it tricky. Because I had a few of these revision ones that I did where people were just getting them all right. And that's fantastic. I love people getting them right. But it means I was not pushing you hard enough. So hopefully this one, we've got you. Awesome. We got some questions, some answers coming in. Fab. Okay, so sliding filament theory. When we talk sliding filament theory, this is the one we're talking about muscle contractions anyway. So we're talking about the structure of the muscle. Now, remember in the structure of the muscle, we have something called a sarcoplasmic reticulum. Woo! Now, that really long word is basically channels that go all the way through your muscle fiber. So as you've got this muscle fiber, and in that you've got your sarcomeres, you've got this reticulum that runs all the way through like little rivers. Now, the job of that reticulum is to deliver, everyone's getting it right, calcium to that area. And calcium works by flushing out any of the debris. And that debris happens when the actin and myosin lock on. So you've got actin, and then you've got myosin that locks onto it. As it locks on and releases ATP, and you get this charge of electricity and energy, basically, and that neuromuscular connection happens, then that little dirty remaining part of ATP hangs around, but also that actin can get, the myosin can get stuck on the actin. And the calcium's job is to come through and literally sweep it away, clear it away, and put it back up to where it belongs. So calcium is really important for muscle contraction. So it's important that we have that as part of our diet as well. The interesting thing about calcium, and actually let's try and link this to the question we had before, is that if you don't have enough in your diet, then we have stored plenty. So we have lots of stores of calcium, and because muscle contraction is so important to us, we will then break down the bone that we have and start leaching calcium out of that bone so that we can then use it to help us for that muscle contraction. So it is really important, and sometimes you won't realize that you are necessarily low on calcium in your diet or etc. However, when you then find out that maybe later on in life, like we had earlier, osteoporosis occurs because the bone mass density has gone down, then it relates because you've been leaching it out of the bones. There we go. It's not iron, it's not magnesium, it's definitely not vitamin D. The big giveaway with the vitamin D is that it asks for a mineral ion. So it asks for a mineral, and vitamins are not a mineral, but the other three are minerals. Well done, guys, for getting that one fantastically correct. Right, before I give you question number 4, and I have to admit this one is save the best till last. It's a little bit challenging. Before I give you question 4, little flash of the card, I would like any other questions that you have or any other areas that you're struggling on, pop them in that comments box, because it would be great to hear from you. And then after I finish this, I can then go through and answer any questions you've got. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. Join in for this final one, and then we'll go from there. Are you ready? Question 4, let's go. Question 4, essentially, which muscle attaches the medial clavicle and sternum to the upper humerus? Is it A, serratus anterior? I'm going to get it closer because my red pen ran out when I wrote this one. B, trapezius, C, pectoralis major, or D, teres major? So which muscle attaches the medial clavicle and sternum to the upper humerus? Is it A, serratus anterior? Is it B, trapezius, C, pectoralis major, or D, teres major? Whew! Okay. Quite extreme on that question, hey? This is the type of question that when you see it, you kind of just get this lump in your throat on exam day and then go, I'll move on to the next one. And that's fine, but we still need to come back to it at some point. So, the one thing that most people struggle with is origins and insertions, especially in learning them. And it's probably the thing that I have the biggest questions about in terms of the suggestion that we have for you, and that's to break it down so you study one muscle for about 10-15 minutes every single day on the lead up to your exam, and then build that up until you've covered all sort of 20 muscles that you need to cover ready for your exam. But break them down in different days so your head doesn't get too full of it. But which muscle do I mean? Now this is about accessing that file in your brain that says, well, where is it? What's going on? So the way to do this is, first off, don't panic. Second off, take a deep breath, have a moment, and just clear your head. Then find out, what do I already know? That's your main thing. What do I already know, and what is it asking me? It's asking you to locate a muscle. Well, then we look down, we go, well, there's no sort of ones that aren't muscles in there. It's not got a femur in there or anything bizarre like that. So then from there we can go, right, so all of them are still in play. It's asking for a muscle. But it's asking for one that attaches to the medial clavicle. So first up you go, right, do I know where the medial clavicle is? So medial relates to the midline. So it's the area closest to the midline. So if your clavicle here goes across, that's your collarbone, then the medial side of it is going to be closest to the midline, whereas your lateral side of it is going to be further along to the side. Make sense? So lateral's out to the side, medial's in the middle. So you know that it's got to come from here. So then you can go through it and you can go, right, which of those are nowhere near that? And then that depends on whether you know it. So it's about eliminating it bit by bit. Then you've got sternum. So you know the sternum runs down through the middle, that's the breastbone. So which of them are close to the breastbone? So even if you don't know the attachment point here, you can definitely work it out on this one. So let's have a think. You're already saying it's definitely not going to be the trapezius. Okay, so hopefully you've delineated the fact that the trapezius is at the back, definitely doesn't touch the sternum in the front. But you might turn around and say, serratus is somewhere on the front, and teres major, or I don't know, it's something to do with the shoulder. But teres major doesn't attach on the sternum, so that must mean that because it's a rotator cuff, then it's to do with our scapula in particular. So it's more at the back of our body, but you might have that in play. So the final one is upper humerus. Where does it sit? Which of these also come to the upper humerus? Now, teres major, it could be, but serratus anterior, or could be, but you need to now know where they attach. Now, the answer is C, pectoralis major. Nice way of thinking about this one is if you draw a line between all of those areas, even if it's on your body, or you might doodle it on exam day, and you go, right, let's draw that line, and we go medial clavicle, sternum, and then upper humerus. So we go upper humerus, sternum, and anterior, get the right side. So if we go medial clavicle, sternum, and then up to the upper humerus, then you draw that line between them, you're already thinking, oh, what would that be? What would allow that action to happen if I had to bring this side closer to this side? Oh, it's got to be pec, because you know that that's your pec fly motion. So that's how I do it. If you weren't sure, as long as you know where the bones are and you know roughly where the main muscles are, you can fudge through it as long as you stay clear and calm and just don't let yourself get distracted by the nerves. TJ, C, fantastic. Exactly the one that is the answer. So perfectly correct. TJ, when is your exam? And what are you doing? Level 2, level 3? How does that work? Let me know. So answer for this one, let me flash that back up. Which muscle attaches to the medial clavicle and sternum to the upper humerus? Is it A, serratus anterior, B, trapezius, C, pectoralis major, D, teres major? It was pectoralis major. Right. Well, that is some selection of fantastic questions. Those 4 questions, honestly, are absolute game changers. So if you are studying for your exam at the moment, let me know, when is your exam? Is it level 2 or is it level 3? Pop that in the comments box. Whether you do that here or in the recording, I will still get round to seeing your replies, so please do it anyway. If I get a few questions come through, I will certainly answer those, so please do pop in your questions. But if I don't have any questions in the next couple of minutes, I will leave you to enjoy your afternoon, evening, and leave you to sort of enjoy your revision as well. I'm sure you have been cracking on with a lot of wonderful revision. Those of you that are on our email list, on our VIP list, those of you that are already working with us or have bought our revision mastery or on our VIP list, you have a specific email coming your way. It should be in your inbox, sent at about 6 o'clock, for an exclusive chance to train with us. So please do check it out. It is only open to our VIPs at the moment, so I'm not going to tell you the details here now, but if you are in the VIPs, then you'll have an email. Go and check it. If you're not in the VIPs, then depending on numbers, we might launch it out later as well, but I reckon I'll step it up. So the other side of it is, if you're preparing for your exam, what have you done already to help you prepare and help you pass? If you've made that decision, yeah, I'm going to pass. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to pass, and I'm going to make sure that I do that. And you've made that decision on the direction you want to take your studies, then what have you done so far to make sure you're doing it? Things like this are fantastic because, like I say, it's bite-sized chunks. We go through some specific questions, and that will hopefully lodge in your brain as well because we explain the answers. We also have things like our mock questions. So if you've not downloaded the mock questions, pop in a little comment. that you would like some mock questions for level 2 or level 3, and then I'll just paste them across. So we've got some mock questions. We've got 88 for level 2, we've got 101 of them for level 3. If you've already downloaded those and you're looking for more help, then obviously check out our revision mastery series as well. You'll find links to that on our Facebook, but you'll also find it on our website, so head on over or just ask in the comments box and I'll help you. But massive well done, because you guys done fantastically with those 4 questions today, and they're tough. I did not pick the 4 easiest questions in the pack. That's not what you need. You need a little kick, a little push every now and then. So these were the hard ones that you're probably not expecting on your exam for your anatomy. But if you have been watching this and you've enjoyed it, then please do share or tag in your classmates, because they're going to also then benefit from this. Remember, it's not done on a percentage, it's done on a strict percentage. So it's not that if they get more questions than you right, then they will get the pass and you won't. Remember, it's done on a strict percentage across the board. So help out your classmates. If this has been helpful, tag them in, let them know that they can also benefit from these 4 questions. Straightforward, hey? I can't see any other comments coming in, but pop them in and I'll get back to you, even if they are on like after we've gone live. That would be fantastic. I've enjoyed this evening. I hope you have as well. I'm going to go and have my Caribbean jerk chicken, or finish making it ready for this evening. Going to make some little gluten-free dumplings as well, some veg with it. Cannot wait. Not that my life revolves around food and anatomy, but basically that's it. So I wish you all a fantastic evening. Thank you for your time. Well done for answering so many questions correctly. Give me a couple of those likes and hearts and wonderful things if you've enjoyed it. And like I say, share with your friends that are also getting ready for exams, because why not help them out, help them pass. Alright guys, best of luck for your exams coming up, and I'm hoping to do another little live with you tomorrow morning. So I'll test out a couple of times, see what happens, and hopefully I'll grab a few of you then. Take care. See you soon. Bye.